I am the professor of sculpture at the University of Texas at Tyler. I was just discussing with some of the audience here. My wife and I both taught in that department going on 20 years now. So it's been an interesting journey. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your piece.
This piece is titled When the Birds Sang More Like They Meant It. It's a piece that I did maybe 8 years ago, I believe. It's toured all over the country, and it's finally found a home here in the Longview Museum of Fine Art. A lot of my work, well, most of my work has to do with language. It deals with language, and specifically poetry or poetic phrases, song lyrics, those sorts of things. And I can't remember exactly where I heard the phrase "when the birds sang more like they meant it," but it was a phrase that stuck with me for years and years. And when I begin making a sculpture, when I get into my studio and start working, a lot of times phrases like that or song lyrics will stick in my head and they find their way out through my hands. Most of my work now is fabricated steel, ranging in scale from what I would call pedestal scale work all the way up to my largest sculpture is in Nevada at the Buffalo Creek Art Center, and it's nearly 30 feet tall. So I like steel because of its structural integrity. It allows me to go large relatively quickly. I think I'm going to say about 8 feet. Yeah. So, and it was recently featured in an exhibition at the Longview Museum of Fine Art with my wife and her paintings, Alexis Serio.
What about the airplane?
Oh, the airplanes. The paper airplanes came about for a couple reasons. One is I find them interesting because of the juxtaposition of the materials. Something that's steel that's normally made out of paper. It has it defies gravity, sort of in an intellectual way. But the paper airplanes came about when my wife and I had our first child, my son Frankie. It seemed to be a very interesting metaphor about how, as young people, we're first sort of introduced to magic, the sort of awe and wonder of something that you can take and fold and then make it fly. And I found it to be a very interesting metaphor. You could see the sort of awe in a young person's face when they see something take flight. But then, of course, the other side of that is they always have to land. So there's a reality to that. And I found that sort of metaphor kind of charged and interesting. So it began to find its way into my work when my son was born. Yeah. No, it's just, the rest of it is just basically formal elements that I use to create like a sense of motion or a sense of energy, like a sort of frantic, static, kind of make sounds in a way, in a visual way. So a lot of that is just playing with formal qualities to help finish out the composition. The work that I'm creating right now in my studio, I've been pretty busy the last week or two in my studio, going a new direction that is takes an interest in plants, flowers, and things like that, not necessarily for their aesthetic quality that we all, you see a flower and you think, well, that's a beautiful thing, but more as nature as a system in a whole. So they're all made out of different kinds of materials like steel and plate bronze, and I'm using that sort of juxtaposition of those materials. Some are more fine, some are less refined and rusty and that kind of stuff. And so I'm using that, excuse me, I'm using that to try to create interesting compositions that deal with just the understanding of the world and nature as a system. So it juxtaposes the idea of things that are very mechanical looking to create things that are very natural looking. I find that material transformation intriguing, and that's kind of what keeps me going in the studio. Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to tell us about?
I've appreciated the opportunity to exhibit at the Longview Museum of Fine Art. Derek Frazier, former student of both of ours, we've known him for quite a long time, and we were thrilled that he invited us to come participate, and it's been a great relationship, and I'm glad to be part of the collection now.
We are too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.